Okay everyone, and welcome to a split stance lower body workout with EventFit. Today we've got a warm-up consisting of adductor rocks and single leg reaches, and then we go into our main session, which is 3 rounds of a B stance squat and a B stance Romanian deadlift, and then we go into a Bulgarian split squat and a Cossack squat, and we finish off with 50 hip thrusts. So make sure you've got some water, a mat, some dumbbells, and let's get your workout started. So if you want to take a quick picture of this, if you want to do it again, or just so you know what's coming up, this is the workout that we're going to be doing today. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully you can find this in the on-demand strength section in your app. So an adductor rock essentially is sticking your leg out to the side and rocking up and down with the pelvis, bringing the knees back together with a bit of a quadruped hold, and then moving leg to the other side. And just tilting the pelvis will give you a bit of a better reach, a bit of a better stretch in the adductors. So remember, this is just a warm-up, so there's no right or wrong. We're just trying to feel out, if you like, the movement and trying to warm up those adductors because we use them a lot when we're riding. So you can move the pelvis forwards and back, and we're going to do about 5 to 8 on each side. That's what we're aiming for, and we're going to do a couple of rounds of these. So what you can do, if you want to add a little bit of core, is do a little bit of a knee hover and then perch back a little bit. That will add a little bit more tension into the body. But just adduct your leg to the side and then have a little pelvic tilt. And as you can see here, my range of motion is starting to increase as I go through the reps. So as you can see here, I'm starting to move my bottom backwards, if you like, a little bit more. And basically I'm just trying to do what feels good. So you want to feel good around the hips and around the adductors. So have a little rest there. And then we're going to do a single leg reach on each side. So we're going to go forward, side, back. Then we're going to go other side and all the way around to the front and reach. Then we're going to do that again on the other leg, and we're going to aim for 2 on each side. It looks weird, it feels weird, but it's good for your range of motion. So we're going to go forward, side, back, all the way around the back, all the way around the front, and then pop to the side again. Essentially, if you get lost doing this movement, don't worry too much. Just try to move your leg in all different directions. We're mobilising the core, the hips, the ankle on the opposite leg with the balance. It doesn't look like it's doing much, but it is. It's mobilising your body and warming you up. Once you've done those, we're going to come back in and do those adductor rocks. So we're going to stick one leg out, we're going to tilt the pelvis upwards and down and bring the leg back in. Come to an adductor hold, and if your body feels warm enough, increase that range of motion so your bottom comes all the way back in that adductor hold. If not, you can stay where you were before. So we're sort of doing a mini cat-cow in that adduct position, and I want you to take the license to do what feels good. So if it feels good to have a little bit more range, remember this is just a warm-up. So we're aiming for 5 to 8 on each side. And just play with the range of motion. There's no right or wrong here, we're just trying to warm up the lower body. One more on this side. Lovely. We're going to come back into that single leg movement now. What I would like you to do is bend the working leg and try to create a little bit more range than you did last time. So just push yourself a little bit further, like you see I'm doing here. Use your arms for balance. Don't worry if you fall, I do too. So we're going to go all the way forwards, all the way to the side, all the way back. Then we're going to twist all the way around the back, and then all the way around the front, and then to the side to finish off. Lovely. So again on the other side, forwards, side, back, all the way around the back, all the way around the front, finish at the side. Forward, back. Oh, I went the wrong way there, don't worry too much about that. I had an extra one in there, perfect. Now I'm doing some extra ones this time, so go with it. Do what feels good. You should be getting the hang of it now. Really try and test yourself. If you can go even lower than me, Remember, I'm postpartum still recording this, just over 3 months. So my hips are still not particularly stable, my balance is still fairly compromised. A B stance position is where one leg is still and the other one is just acting as a crotch. So we're going to be doing 5 each side, and we're going to be squatting down. So in that working leg, you want your weight in your heel, you'll want your chest up, and that right leg of mine is just there to hold balance. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're going for 5. And if 5 feels too easy, do a few more, that's fine. And we're aiming for the weight in the heel and the chest up high. Lovely. We're now going to move into a B stance, so same foot position, Romanian deadlift. So this is where we're hinging over the working leg and there's no change in the knee. So you should feel a stretch down the hamstring and then the glutes of the working leg. And it doesn't really matter too much which arm you hold the dumbbell in. I've gone for the opposite arm, so the contralateral arm. It's a little easier. We're going to go for 8 on each side. So we're just hinging over the working leg. The other leg is just there for support. So you should, in theory, be able to just bring that back leg up and support yourself on one leg. So all your weight should be on the working leg. A nice stretch down the glutes and the hamstrings. If you're not feeling that, try to reach further back with the bottom. So set those down. So that's your first set. So now you know what you're doing. We're going to do that again. So we're going for 5 on each leg for the squats and 8 on each leg of the deadlift. So let's get your dumbbell back up again and we'll go for those B stance squats. So remember, a B stance is basically single leg, but the other leg is there to support you. So that's 1, that's 2. Really try and go nice and deep. Try to keep your weight in the heel of the working foot and your chest up. Switch legs. 1, 2. You can hold a weight like me in your chest. 4, 5. Great job. And then we're going to go straight into the B stance Romanian deadlift. So we're going to pivot around the hip. Very, very small change in movement of the knee. All the movement is happening at the hip here. Think show jump position. 6, 7, 8. Well done. Let's switch sides. And if you can, get your shoes off, do this flat footed. It's absolutely okay to work out with flat feet. Without shoes and flat feet. But the more you can feel the floor, the more stable you're going to be. Perfect. And we got one more round of those. So we'll focus on that in just a minute. So we're not taking too much rest here. We're not lifting super heavy. Obviously you want to feel it work. So with the rep ranges I've given you, you want to feel like you could do an extra 3 to 4 reps in the tank. So if it's not really testing you, then you can choose to increase, we're going again here, the weights, or you could actually just do more repetitions than what I'm doing. Lovely. Now switch legs. If you like my funky workout pants, these are Sweaty Betty. I fell in love with them when I saw them and I had to get them. Last one here. Lovely. So we're going to go into our last round of Romanian deadlifts. Hinge around the hip, nice flat back. Make sure the shoulders are plugged into the sockets there. Make sure the core's switched on. I'm going to do 8 on one side and then 8 on the other side. And you can indeed do this with 2 dumbbells. You can do it with a kettlebell, with a bar. So work with whatever equipment that you have to hand. Last few reps here. Great job. Okay, so the next 2 exercises we're going to do, you'll need some sort of footstool. So we're going to do a Bulgarian split squat to start with. So this is basically where you do a squat with one of your back legs up. So you want to play about with the foot position. So you want your foot, you can see me, and now because this cushion is a bit foamy, it's a bit wobbly, but essentially you are going to have a bit of a forward lean, and you will feel this. These are hard, so we're aiming for 8 on each side. If you need to do it unweighted, do it unweighted. I've grabbed 2 dumbbells here. Switch sides now. So play about with that foot position, but think about driving the back leg, the back knee, down towards the cushion. So you're almost going backwards a little bit rather than leaning forwards. You're going sort of forwards and back, if that makes sense. If you look at my back knee, it's going towards the cushion on the way down. Lovely. So set those down. I'm going to do an unweighted Cossack squat. Essentially, a Cossack squat is very similar to a lateral lunge. So if you put your feet in like almost a sumo position, and then you're going to lunge laterally to one side, so weight in the heel of that leg, and then to the other side. It's perfectly acceptable to bring the straight leg up a little bit and rotate it so that you don't get any like pains in the knees. My range with this movement currently isn't so great, so if you're able to go lower than me, that's perfect. I have very tight hips at the moment. They're a bit unstable, so I find this movement particularly difficult, which is why it's good to do it. And we're aiming for 8 only on each side. And then we're going to do 2 more rounds of that. So now you've seen what they look like, you can focus hopefully on a bit more form. These are very difficult, but they're brilliant for hip stability, hip flexor strength, strengthen the quads, the hamstrings. So it's really important to incorporate lots of lower body moves, particularly single leg as an equestrian. So 8 on each side. Play with that back foot. Sometimes you can get a little bit cramping in the feet, so if you get that, just stop, shake it out and start again. And it's perfectly acceptable for your upper body to lean forwards a little bit, but try to make sure you're not massively rounding out or bending over in the tummy. So make sure you've got a bit of integrity to the core and that your shoulders are locked in. So once you've done 8 on one side, switch legs and make sure we're driving that knee backwards. And that we're getting a decent amount of range. You don't want to sort of head bob like a parrot. You want to be actually getting full range of motion in that working leg. In an ideal world to 90, but as you can see, I'm not there, so we work with what range that we've got at the time. Lovely. Set those down and we'll go back to those Cossack squats. Remember, we're doing 5 to 8 on each side. I'm demoing 5 here. So wide legs, toes slightly out, and then we're going to bend as if we were doing a squat. So think squat, hips back, hip knee bend together, weight in the heel. You are going to lean forwards a little bit by the nature of the movement, and I'm, like I've already mentioned, quite restricted in terms of mobility in this movement, but it's only 5 on each side, so give it your all. I'm using my arms for a bit of counterbalance because I'm used to having a bump and I don't have one anymore, so I'm not used to holding my weight back in my heels by myself. I've got a heavy bump to do it for me. Okay, last round. Hopefully you're feeling a bit sweaty. Hopefully you're feeling this a little bit. I certainly am by the look of it. Okay, so we're going to go back into those Bulgarian split squats. These are a love to hate exercise, that's for sure. So we're going for 8 on this side. And then 8 on the other side. So switching now. Put your foot in the middle so your cushion doesn't fall over like mine. And obviously I've got a soft surface here, but if you've only got a hard bench or something, you can do it, just put your shoes on. Or something soft on top of it. Perfect. Okay, so into the last round of Cossack squats now. We're going for 5 on each side. So feet wide, toes slightly out. You can do this. Look, I had a bit of determination there. So weight into the heels. Try and keep the chest up as best you can, but if you're a bit restricted in the hips, you're going to find this difficult. finding something difficult is not a reason not to do it. Not being able to do a move perfectly is not a reason not to do it. As you can see, we don't look like Instagram models when we're doing a real workout. Right, now we've got a finisher, so we're going to do 50 hip thrusts. So make sure you count yours because you might be going at a different time to me. Bring your heels nice and close to your glutes so you're getting a real squeeze in the glutes, and start now. And try not to put the glutes down completely. So let them touch and then come up. Think about the hip bones shining up towards the sky and the glute medius coming in towards your midline to support the pelvis. You can go as fast or as slow as you like, but make sure you get those 50 hip thrusts in. It is going to start to burn. You are going to start to feel it. But you can do it. Let's keep going, keep the momentum. If you do need to take a rest, just take it. Don't be a hero, don't suffer with any lower back pain. Stop, take a rest. If you need to go again, that's absolutely fine. Really close now. You're almost at the end of this workout. You're so close, last few reps. If you're sitting there thinking, she'll never know if I don't do a few more. No, I won't, but you will. So make sure you keep going, keep the integrity in the core. We're almost there, and stop. Well done guys, that's the end of this workout. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how you got on.